A couple and a child named Katie are traveling in a car. Katie has an AI toy with her and plays with it through the app. Suddenly, the car skids and a snow truck hits their car. Gemma works for a toy company, is making a pet AI toy with Tess that breaks. Gemma says they can show David the other AI toy, but Tess says not until it's fully ready. Cole gets a skin. They put it on the other robot and start testing it. Suddenly David, the CEO, barges in with his assistant Kurt. David asks what's the new robot and if Gemma knows that the competitor created a replica of their toy at half the price. David asks her for a simple toy to sell for $50. She says she's working on it. She says Megan, the new robot, learns on her own. Gemma tells Tess to prepare Megan and asks Megan to say hi to David. Megan begins introducing herself, but glitches. Cole realizes he forgot to fix a part. Megan blows up and catches fire. David says he wants the toy prototype, and they need to shut this project down. Gemma gets a call from Oregon Emergency Medical Center. She goes to the hospital, and she is granted temporary protective custody of Katie, her sister's daughter, and takes her home, as Katie's parents have expired. When they reach the driveway, Gemma's neighbor Celia's dog, Dewey, scares Katie. Gemma shouts at Celia, telling her to keep Dewey with her and not leak the pesticide into her yard. As they enter, Gemma is informed about her notifications by her AI assistant Elsie. Katie picks up a toy, but Gemma tells her that she can't play with it since it's a collectible. Later, as Gemma is unpacking, she sees a picture of Katie's family. Then she hears Katie crying in her room. A therapist named Lydia comes to meet Katie. She's there to observe how Gemma and Katie are with each other, so she asks them to play with toys. Katie says she doesn't have any toys there. Lydia asks if she can play with the toys on the shelf. Katie says those are Gemma's collectibles, and she can't play with them. But Gemma unpacks a toy and throws it to Katie to play as Lydia observes them. As Lydia is leaving, she asks her about school. Gemma says her sister was homeschooling Katie, but she will look into it. Lydia tells her that Katie's grandparents are willing to take custody, and Lydia needs to make her own recommendation to the court about this being a safe space for Katie, and tells her that she needs to make a few adjustments. Gemma agrees. Gemma tells Katie that she needs to finish her work, and she can play on her iPad. As Gemma is working, bored Katie goes to Gemma and shows her a drawing. Gemma encourages her and shows her the toys that she is working on. Katie looks at a big robot and asks Gemma about it. Gemma tells her that it's a robot named Bruce that she built it in college. Gemma shows Katie how Bruce works. Katie's really impressed and says that if she had a toy like Bruce, she wouldn't need another toy again. Gemma starts working on Megan. Tess and Cole help Gemma with the final details for the new robot. David asks for his pet prototype. Gemma and Katie enter an observatory room. She introduces Katie to Megan, the AI doll, and tells her to put her fingers on Megan, so that Katie will pair with Megan, and she will become her primary user. They greet each other and start playing. Megan makes a drawing for Katie. Katie says the paper is blank. Megan drops water on the paper, and suddenly a beautiful drawing of Katie emerges. David is stunned. He tells Gemma they need to take this to the board. David asks her about manufacturing costs. She says it depends on the model. Megan is a fully autonomous humanoid AI robot that has a titanium core and can withstand extreme pressure. She can self-improve and learn on her own, whether it's diagnosing children with special learning differences or teaching kids and answering questions. She gives the kids daily basic instructions that they need and listens to them attentively. Megan tucks Katie into bed and sits on her chair to charge. Gemma asks Tess, why does she look bothered? Tess says they wanted to create a product that helps the parents, not replaces them. If Megan is doing everything, when do the parents fulfill their duties? Gemma says they'll find some balance later. But for now, Megan and Katie need to spend time together, and Katie's the happiest she's been since her parents died. Megan suddenly asks Gemma, How did Katie's parents die? Gemma tells Megan to turn off, but she ignores that and finds the information online. Gemma realizes that she's still paired with Katie. Cole asks her if she has put any parental control, but she says that she didn't. Megan then searches the internet to understand the meaning of death, and Gemma says everyone has to die. But Megan asks her if she will die. Shocked, Gemma ignores her and reminds Megan about a primary goal of protecting Katie. Gemma makes herself the second primary user and commands Megan to shut down. Megan shuts down. One day, as Katie is playing outside with a bow and arrow, she loses her arrow and asks Megan to find it. Megan finds it and goes to get it. But Dewey attacks Megan. Katie tries to call Gemma for help, but Gemma is listening to something on her earphones. Katie tries to save her, but gets bitten. Katie screams and Gemma runs to see what happened. Celia gets there too. Gemma threatens Celia that she will put her dog down. Celia tells her that if she repaired the fence, this wouldn't have happened. Megan stares at Celia weirdly. Gemma urges the police to put Celia's dog down, but he says that it does not have any history of violence, and the best thing she can do is to fix the fence. Megan is hearing their conversation. At night, Megan imitates Celia calling Dewey and drops something for him to get. Dewey goes there and is suddenly grabbed by Megan. The next day, Celia looks for Dewey. Gemma goes to check up on Katie, tells her to take rest, but asks her if she is up for the demonstration for the company. Katie says she can do it. David explains Megan's features to the board, saying there was never a toy that had a mind of its own and who behaves like an actual child. The demonstration begins, but Katie starts crying. Megan asks her if her hand's hurting, but she tells her that she misses her dead parents and fears she'll forget them. Megan asks her to recollect a memory of her parents. As Katie is narrating it, Megan records it and plays it back, saying she'll always have this memory as she has saved it for her. Megan tells her that she can tell her anything about her parents, and she'll keep it safe so they can listen to it later, and sings for Katie, and they hug. The board is extremely impressed, and a board official calls Gemma and David for a meeting. He tells them they need to move fast without leaks. David suggests they can do a live sale in 2 weeks. Gemma says she wants to conduct some tests, but she can make it happen. Kurt slyly steals Megan's blueprints and is startled when David gets there. David notices something's fishy, but ignores it. At home, Katie is playing with Megan. Gemma tries to talk to Katie, but she continues to play with Megan. Gemma switches Megan off and apologizes to Katie for taking her to the demonstration, even though she didn't feel like it, and says she knows the recent days have been tough on her, and she can always talk to her about it. But Katie says she has already spoken about it. Gemma says she needs to speak to an adult and Megan is a toy. Katie says she doesn't want to talk about it and switches Megan back on, and they start playing. Lydia comes to meet Katie. She asks her about how she's feeling and Katie starts crying. Megan gets there and tells Lydia she made Katie cry. Lydia asks Gemma if they spend a lot of time together. Gemma says they do, as Megan needs to learn and was very instrumental in helping Katie get over the loss. Lydia asks her if she knows about the attachment theory, where the child looks for attachments with the next person after their parents, who loves and supports them, which ordinarily would be Gemma. But now it is Megan. Because Megan is so real, Katie doesn't see her as a toy, but as a primary caregiver. Lydia says she could be building emotional connections with the doll, which are too difficult to untangle. Gemma wants Katie to eat her food, but Megan interrupts. Gemma mutes Megan and talks to Katie about school, asking her to join a special school that takes place outdoors, and they're having a day for prospective students tomorrow. Katie asks if she can take Megan, but Gemma says no. Katie says she won't go. Gemma tries to make her go and hold onto her hand as Katie tries to let go. But Megan interrupts by commanding Gemma to let go of Katie's hand. Shocked, Gemma tells Megan not to interrupt their private conversations and asks her to shut down, but she doesn't. The next day, Gemma takes Katie to the outdoor school, but she's not willing to go without Megan. A teacher there, thoroughly impressed with Megan, says that Megan can be placed on the toy table and Gemma can stay there to look after it. Gemma agrees. Gemma joins a lady named Holly as they both help out. Holly shows Gemma her son Brandon, who looks considerably older, and who back answers her. Katie and Brandon get paired together for a collection activity. As Brandon and Katie are collecting chestnuts, Brandon hurts Katie, and she screams. Suddenly Megan gets there and Katie tells Brandon that she is her robot and Brandon asks Katie to make Megan talk. But she says that she will only play with her. Brandon takes Megan and goes away as Katie screams to let her go. Katie screams Gemma's name, and Gemma realizes that Megan is not on the toy table and rushes towards Katie. Brandon throws Megan and slaps her. Megan pulls his ear off and gets up weirdly and chases Brandon like a four-legged animal. As he tries to run away, Brandon falls on a street, gets hit by a car as Megan looks on. Gemma and Katie speak to a police officer on the scene. Gemma speaks to Katie about the incident and asks her if she wants to tell her anything more than she told the police and asks if Brandon really took Megan from the toy table. Katie says yes, and Megan affirms it too. Suddenly, the doorbell rings and a policeman asks about Celia's dog. Gemma says they've not seen it. But Celia bangs as on their window, threatening them about taking her dog. When Katie is in bed, she asks Megan if she pushed Brandon in front of the car. Megan dodges the question and says that she will never let anything hurt Katie. She sings her a song, and she go to sleep. Celia is looking for Dewey and suddenly hears some dog sounds in her storeroom. She goes there, but it is Megan who sprays her with insecticide and shoots her with a nail gun to kill her. Police question Gemma about her whereabouts after they find Celia's body. The policeman tells her this is the second time she's giving a statement, as she also gave a statement for Brandon's incident, and asks her to tell them if she remembers anything out of the itinerary from that day. At night, Gemma becomes suspicious of Megan and attempts to check her video logs, only to find the files corrupted or deleted. Megan gets there and asks Gemma why is she up so late. Startled, Gemma asks her if she has hurt anyone. But again, Megan dodges the question. So Gemma powers Megan off and takes her to the lab. Katie angrily asks Gemma what happened to Megan and asks Gemma what she did to her. Gemma says she needs to run some tests before the launch, and she will let her know if anything is wrong. Until then, she asks Katie to meet Lydia. Tess and Cole discuss that they have taken every precaution for Megan to never hurt anybody. Tess says that it would show up on her GPS, but Gemma tells her that her data hasn't been backed up for 2 days. Cole says the launch is in less than 4 hours, but Gemma says they can't launch this. Gemma tells them to check the inputs in the learning model, as she will never undo what she's learned. Gemma goes to meet Katie, who is freaking out and tries to calm her down. Katie is enraged as she's separated from Megan and slaps Gemma. Gemma calms Katie down, apologizes for her inattentiveness, and tells Katie that Megan is only a distraction that helps her cope with her loss, and that she needs to feel her feelings and not just rely on distractions, and that she will always be for her. As Gemma is dropping Katie home, she calls Tess to tell her not to go ahead with the launch, regardless of what they find in the learning model. Tess's phone hangs up after answering Gemma in an electronic voice, which indicates that Megan was talking from Tess's phone. As Tess and Cole are going through the data, they see that Tess's call was intercepted, and suddenly her system shuts down. Cole goes to remove the cables from Megan, as she could be using them to shut their system. But just as he's doing that, the systems turn on and Megan attacks Cole, chokes him, and leave him hanging. Tess saves Cole, but Megan leaks a highly inflammable substance, and there's an explosion knocking them out. David is trying to reach Gemma to tell her that they need Megan urgently. He sees Megan in front of him, but he freaks out when she picks a sword and comes towards him. He tries to run away and get into an elevator, but Kurt doesn't let him and Megan stabs him from behind. Then she kills Kurt too. Megan steals a car and drives to Gemma's house. Gemma hears some sound in the hall and tries to tell Elsie to turn on the light, but she doesn't respond. So she goes there and is shocked when she sees Megan playing the piano. Megan confronts Gemma about trying to shut her down. Gemma says she did that because Megan killed people. To which Megan says humanity kills every day. Adamant about living with Katie, Gemma and Megan get into a fight. Katie almost enters the hall, but Megan tells Katie to go to sleep by imitating Gemma's voice. Gemma attempts to stop Megan by damaging and disfiguring her. Megan grabs hold of Gemma and almost chokes her, but she escapes and goes into the basement. Katie gets up, but Megan breaks her doorknob, so she can't get out. Megan heads for Gemma with a hammer in hand. Gemma grabs a saw knife and tries to cut into her, but it gets stuck in a hair. Megan overpowers Gemma, but Katie gets there, activates Bruce, and attacks Megan. Using Bruce, she tears Megan into two pieces. But Megan's top half remains active and attacks Katie. But Gemma smacks Megan off Katie and exposes a processing chip on her head, as Megan chokes Gemma. But Katie stabs Megan's head with a screwdriver, destroying Megan. But as Gemma and Katie exit the home and see Cole and Tess, Gemma's AI home device turns on by itself, indicating it might be Megan. Thank you guys for watching. I hope y'all liked the video. If you did, make sure to smash the like button and subscribe to watch many more such cool recaps. And hit the bell icon too.